We're looking now at a nice lot of 10 early American juvenile books. This one here is interesting. It's intended for young persons. It's 1834. Outstanding full-page wood engraving as a frontis. It's by Hannah More. As you can see, the book remains tight and sound. It's in a nice early publisher's cloth binding with the original paper label printed on the front cover. So that is a very early publisher's binding. This is also a nice period quarter leather binding. It's a sammelband, and that means that it is a collection of works bound up in one. This has a profusion of these small wood engravings all throughout. There are different imprints here. This is, for instance, 1826 with the October 1827 inscription on the reverse of that frontis. But if we flip through it, you'll see that the assortment of images is really quite nice, and they involve a wide range of iconography, such as books and interior scenes and children praying bedside, and here is a family praying at a table, it appears. Here is mother and child praying. Everybody's praying here. And at the back, we notice that there are further woodcuts for a different story. This one is the affectionate daughter. Yes, there's a nice interior scene with children and so on. There are 5 works in this book. And then the next item is again a cloth binding of the era with an ornate gilt spine. And this is also a sammelband. It's several chapbooks bound up into this volume. You can see an early owner here has taken what appears to be crayon and decorated them in a primitive manner. Now, the third chapbook in here is about dogs. And obviously it's a young child. But once we get past those 3, it would appear their interest in coloring went away, and now we get to a chapbook about people of other parts of the world, which is quite interesting. Danish and Icelanders, the Burmese or Siam, that's fascinating. And there's a Chinese woman, Persian, Circassians, Otaheitans, Tahiti. And then here's a book about America. There's a North American Indian, which is very interesting. People in Chile, yes, natives of South America in feathered headdress. And there we are. Eskimos traveling. And the final, sleigh ride in New England. Final chapbook here is Indian Anecdotes. And there's an Indian village. These little chapbooks would have been issued separately, but the publisher here gathered them up. Oh, there's Red Jacket Chief, Indian with his tomahawk, into this volume. Then we've got 2 little chapbooks. This one actually is a London imprint. It's got some color applied. It's in words of 1 syllable. I would say this coloring is original. It's done by a stencil, and it's primitive but original to the item, I would say. Yep, that application of color, hand color, is unique to that era. And now this is a famous story, Milk for Babes. It's a catechism in verse, and it is interesting in the wrapper with advertisement for further publications. Here is another quarter leather binding with marbled boards. This is fascinating because this is a frontispiece that got torn and somebody repaired it using thread long ago. And that is not something you would see today at all. The imprint is 1829, which is relatively early for a juvenile book in the United States. Here we have a book that someone has done a rather amateur job of repairing the spine. It's a Boston 1834 imprint, 20 wood engravings throughout. As you can see, they appear to be all full page, and it's a range of interior scenes, street scenes with a dog, children in the woods, the table, many images involve interior scenes with people sitting around tables or domestic children. There's a toy drum right there, nice little table sitting beside the woman who's reading. Here's carrying water on the head, inundation, and so on. Yeah, oh, look at that. Balloon. Okay. Next, this is a very nice little item. It's issued in a series of numbers, you know, as in this is book number 4. Each one stands alone. I guess there were 6 of them. But what distinguishes this is the date, 1832, but the profusion of what are steel engraved plate images here. These are actual engravings of a wide range of animals, including a beaver and a badger and an otter, with descriptions, and you know, there's a boar and a porcupine. Yeah, there we are. Cat-type animals and an armadillo. And this book is interesting because this orange laminated paper-covered board is of this era exclusively. You don't see it much after this era. It's lacking its rear board, but it is complete because it retains its blank final leaf. Next, we've got this 1857 Concord, New Hampshire imprint with, again, a profusion of wood engravings throughout, covering a wide range of topics like people of Japan, people of Iceland, Lapland, Spain, Persian ladies, William Tell, people of Timbuktu. There's a marriage ceremony in Africa. Yeah, this is great. Turks selling fruit, Chinese flower seller. Yeah, this is very interesting. There's a tall mast ship for the sailor boy, and so on. Note the yellow end paper right there. Interesting. That spine has been repaired long ago by an early owner. The last item is another 1857 imprint from the same publisher. It's interesting to contrast them. And this one is 1854, but 57 here. And again, a profusion of wood engravings throughout, dozens and dozens of them. And this nice collection of 10, oh, that's a great one, early juvenile books with a globe and a wall map. Looks like sort of a Peter Parley sort of an image. Is currently now available on my website, briandemambro.com.